everyone.
Hi, we're back.
We're back.
Welcome to TFT Tarot for Today.
Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
and me, Banshee. How are you, everybody?
Hello, hello, hello. And this is a special night because we are really flying solo. We don't even have an agenda.
It is such a special night that I'm barely on camera. And
Scoot in a little.
I did already. I
Oh,
thought,
dear. Hi, smiling soul.
actually, I think I need to go. I don't know which way I need to go. There we are. That's a little better. Hello,
Okay.
smiling soul. Well, yeah, we had a few little glitches getting off the ground here today, but we'll get the hang of it eventually. We had to, our producer had to wean us eventually. So, at any rate, today we've decided to skip our Tarot for Tomorrow review to give more time for other things. It has been a crazy week anyway. I'm not even sure. I do believe the Tarot for Tomorrow was pretty accurate for me this week, but I don't want to be telling my story
We're getting
today.
applause.
We are? Oh, thanks.
Why, thank you.
Why, thank you. Really appreciate it. I didn't even have time to get out of my work clothes today, so it is what it is. At any rate, I hope everybody's had a great week, and I've been having fun lately on Twitter and Facebook. I've been trying to engage people in our question deck there. I haven't gotten a lot of comments. Well, I really haven't gotten any comments on it thus far. So I'm going to try another card and talk it up some more and see if we can't get something going. Plus, I also have another idea that I'm going to be doing on Twitter and Facebook. And I'm not going to tip my hand on that right now. So today I see Oberon has his Rider-Waite deck. And I also have my Robin Wood deck out here, which is a Llewellyn deck, which I will be using at some point. And today, for the Lenormand cards that I read, I am using I gotta put those away. I am using the Fairy Tarot that I've used, or Fairy Lenormand, Fairy Tale Lenormand that I've used once before. And this is a really nice deck, and I believe this is a U.S. Games deck. So anyway, we're going to get going, and oh, you know what? We could have used our template today because it's my reading day.
Oh, dear.
Isn't it? I do
Yes, it
Thursdays,
is.
don't I? Do I remember my own reading? Why, yes, I do. So we'll be doing my weekly spread, and what do we want to start with? Do we want to start with the weekly spread and just get it out of the way?
Yeah, let's do the weekly spread.
Okay. I'll use my Robin Wood deck for that.
We're trying to do that.
We are trying to comment on people's stuff. I know I need to do a little bit more of that, Smiling Soul. Thank you. But I even commented on my own tweet so that I could try to get the ball rolling. So I'm going to try that again next time. Basically what I did, you might have noticed, Smiling Soul, since you're on Twitter, but I also put it on Facebook, that I put one of my question deck cards down and the tarot card that I pulled for it, and then I suggested, why doesn't everybody chime in and tell us what they think, it could mean, how it could answer the question. And so, I know that on Twitter and Facebook, we have some people who read tarot as well as people who are looking for readings. So I'm hoping that some of the tarot readers will chime in and give some of their advice. And actually, anybody can do it. If you look at the cards, use your imagination a little bit, you can come up with a way to answer that question. There really are no wrong answers with this. It's not something that you get graded on. It's basically just for fun. And I'm hoping I can come up with some funny answers. They're not always going to be serious. We'll have some fun with this project of mine.
Now, I responded to something on Facebook today that was from somebody we like the U.S. Games Systems website or Facebook site, and they had asked a question on whether or not anybody likes to use Lenormand or Oracle cards alongside their tarot readings. And I said, yes, we do it in our live stream with most readings. So hopefully some people will like that and check us out. I gave the link, of course, to the live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get on Facebook today at work, but it's hard for me to do stuff at work. I try to keep up with Twitter a little bit on my lunch breaks. But I think what I'll do is I will go and comment on that myself tomorrow to tell them how I'm using the Lenormand in the readings. It kind of emphasizes,
And I hear what you're saying
accentuates
there
the
too
readings.
about the people that are on Facebook who are not on Twitter or vice versa, that kind of thing. And the funny thing is one of my special friends, Larita, who may join us tonight, she asked for the information and I did send it to her. But she mostly has, she said she still has her Facebook account, she still has her Twitter account, but she mostly doesn't use either. She's on to Instagram. And I said, oh, where have I heard this before?
There's a lot of people we know on Instagram as well, and I haven't cracked that nut yet, but maybe someday I will be checking out the Instagram.
Look, Smiling Soul said a little tip to you.
I know, and I've been
Excuse me.
I need to read up on the hashtag things. I sort of understand it and I sort of don't. So I think I need to look into that a little bit more. I mean, do you just create your own hashtag? Do you find some hashtag to climb onto? I'm a little
Probably a little bit of
confused by
both.
that. Yeah. Create my own hashtag for the question deck, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Okay, but this reading that we're doing right now is for the week ahead, and it's my reading, so it's going to be the physical, it's going to be what's going on in your health and well-being, both mental, physical, and then the second card is about your work and your education. Your third card is about money and finances, I believe, and the fourth card is about, no, third card is love and relationships, I'm sorry, and the fourth card is about the focus for the week ahead.
Alrighty.
Okay. So Instagram allows you to post to Facebook and Twitter, so if you do
We're
have
going to get Instagram, I guess, because that obviously
maybe
seems
someday.
like it would be very time saving
I
to be able
know.
to do that.
No fuss, no muss there, I think.
Thanks for that tip.
Okay, the first card. Well, if you have to get this card, it's one of those cards I say is better to get it reversed than upright. Or I don't know. How do you feel about that, Oberon? Do you feel it's
What is
supposed? It is
Oh,
the
the
Five
Five
of
of
Pentacles reversed. And that is in our physical and mental, physical and emotional and spiritual well-being. Well, it seems as though we're going to be feeling pretty run down, but possibly I would feel on the mend a little bit with it reversed.
This seems to be a little bit of a card of being on the mend, that after the literal dark night of the soul, some sun has started to break, some situations are alleviating. So this was in the first position?
Yes,
Which
so-
was a general?
No, I just said it. It was the physical, spiritual, emotional well-being, health and well-being.
So it does seem like maybe after some minor problems or some considerable problems, things will be changing and will be mending in many respects.
Maybe some of us are feeling like I am, allergies early.
Good
They've come
thing.
early to the people in Michigan because there's been a lot of warm days still, but cool nights, and that apparently brings out the ragweed or whatever happens in the fall. So I'm being impacted by that a little bit myself. So if you're feeling a little bit run down this week, this card is saying, take heart. Yes, so it will be mended. You'll be on the mend soon. Oh my gosh. This is the day for cards I'd rather have in reverse than upright. So now, in our work, education, and, financial matters environment, we have the card of
The Ten of Swords.
the Ten of Swords reversed, which again is almost as if you've suffered some blows or setbacks at work, and that may be, you might be recovering from that. But let's just say the recovery from that is not going to be really easy. It's going to leave a mark of some sort, I feel, like you're going to have some lasting feelings or implications from whatever's occurred on the work front.
Well,
It could be like a stab in the back, coworkers sometimes They can go for the gut.
It is in the position that governs your workplace and work affairs. And I don't know, for some people it may say that maybe in this next week you will gain an upper hand, and that if there is a particular personal enemy in your workplace, a person who you know is basically just trying to hurt you in various ways, this could mean that maybe that situation will change, that maybe if there's information that can help reveal that or stop that, it looks like there's a good chance it'll happen.
Well, I like that. I mean, I like that a lot better. So that sounds good to me.
So allergies are even hitting down there where you're at too, I guess,
Yeah.
eh? Smiling so?
Yeah, it's a bad time right now, so I can see why people might be. And flu season's starting too, so let's be careful out there. I haven't gotten my flu shot yet, but I have to get one every year because of my asthma. So the third card is love and relationships, interpersonal relationships. So this could be friendships also. And it's the day of reversals. So that's the Six of Wands, am I right?
It is.
The Six of Wands reversed.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I did not have these cards in any order. And yeah, some of them are upright in here. So it's just the way it is. And it seems as though in interpersonal relationships, well, there could be some setbacks, maybe some delays, maybe some disappointments. Like, for example, you set a date to meet somebody and it doesn't happen. Dates get canceled. It could be things like that. I think little minor annoyances and disappointments.
Well, it's about the love life.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
it
it
seems
is.
to me like maybe there is
But friendships too.
some little off-putting, like maybe there's positioning, like maybe if for those of us who are in a relationship, there may be a little bit of bickering and maybe there will be some positioning. Somebody wants to be on top, somebody else has to accept not being on top, that kind of thing. Just work it out nicely, everyone.
Yes, indeed. And the final card is the focus for the week, and I'm going to be interested to see what this is with all of this going on. Oh, didn't we just have this card in another deck we pulled?
It was last night only.
Yes, it was our card for today, I believe. The Four of Cups reversed. And it was our Tarot of Tomorrow card for today. So I think this is indicating that after all is said and done here with this somewhat negative, oh, hello, Sunny. Sunny has popped onto the scene. Somewhat negative reading I've had so far, that it's time to just get back into the swing of things. Don't let all of this set you back. It's time to get moving. Don't be swayed by this. What do you want to add to that?
I'm sorry, I was a little distracted with things.
Oh no,
here.
that's okay. I know you're working the
It does feel like
cameras.
maybe there's the sense that you had been waiting for
Oh,
a
kitty
decision,
butt shot.
and finally you
Dear.
made a decision. But I'm wondering if you really did have enough information there. And of course, Sunny takes over.
Just took over our reading once again. Basically, I think that, too, it could indicate that, after all is said and done here, after all these setbacks, you're going to get back up on your feet and you're going to get moving and move in the right direction with things in your life. There's, as I think I said in my Tarot for Tomorrow card, you might as well get moving because there may be a golden cup waiting for you, as this card seems to indicate, in the, oops, I can't get it in the camera. I don't know why. In the upright.
Oh,
it's the delay. That's okay.
No, I'm actually having problems.
All right, we're having a few technical difficulties. We'll get through this. So basically, that's the reading for this week. I think I'll try to sum it up if Sunny could move. The first card was the Five of Pentacles reversed, though, in health. So just be aware you might be under the weather this week. Maybe take a little extra care of yourself and try to avoid this. And in your business and financial matters, be careful. Well, just know that you might have encountered some difficulties with people who maybe did not have your best interests at heart, and so I would just suggest that you take it understand that you will be healing from that. You will be recovering from that whole thing. And finally, the final card for relationships kind of indicates a few setbacks with people, that there might be delays, there might be dates canceled, there might be little things that happen, but keep moving, keep on moving forward, don't give up.
Okay, and we're going to pause for a moment.
Okay, please stand by while
We're back.
we're back. Sorry about that.
Just having a little problem
snafus.
monitoring all the bells and whistles here. Oh my goodness, I feel like I should get up and get something to swab Sonny's eye. There's a big
Oh,
blobby
no.
thing there.
Is there?
Yeah, he's got a little eye infection.
We don't need to let our audience in on that, but they might see it anyway. Okay, I think I got all my cards, don't I? I had to.
I myself do not get the flu shot, Smiling Soul, because I'm probably not a good candidate for what it could end up doing. I'm just a little too paranoid about that.
Well, for me as an asthmatic, the flu could cause me more problems than the flu shot. So I really do need to watch for that, because if flus turn into pneumonia, I could have problems. And unfortunately, what I really would love to get is a pneumonia shot. But from what I understand, I cannot get a pneumonia shot even though I have asthma until I'm 65. So that's a problem, because, anything that turns to pneumonia could be very bad for me. So that's why I do it, and it's worked out pretty well for me. I've had no bad reactions from the flu shots thus far. And no flu.
And there's the long view of Sonny. Does this camera make him look fat? It looks like he's got a little small head way down the hall there.
He's always facing me. I wish he would face the camera. But oh well. It is
Hi,
what
son
it is.
man.
Spots on her lungs after getting the flu shot. Oh my, that's not good at all. Goodness. Yeah, I know that, hey, with almost anything, there's side effects and there's issues. I've heard that the shingles shot the new one that they came out with has some bad side effects too. And I'm wanting to get a shingles shot because that runs in my family. And also, my boss just had the shingles a year ago and it was bad. And she was out for 10 days with it and it was bad, and it's kind of scary, especially if it's something that could affect your eyes. So you take your chances with some stuff. You just got to be as an informed consumer of healthcare as you can and use what you feel is right for you. It's my advice there.
Okay, so that
Okay, well, that being said, we could I'm just trying to, oh, you bummer. You are messing with everything here. I'm sorry about this. Well, it's a Thursday for sure, not a Sunday, so we are a little
note
disorganized.
to producer who may be watching from home.
Yes. Help us!
You probably need to be here because we need somebody to kind of put us in shape, that kind of thing there. So
Now, I think what we need to do is just write out a few steps and we'll be okay, because,
Probably.
the brain cells, they need a little help sometimes. Little cheat sheets would do the trick, I think. So if you hear thumping on the table, it's him. It's not me.
So what are we going to do now?
Well, what are we going to do now? I think we could ask if anybody, Smiling Soul, are you interested in a reading today from us? Now that it's nice and quiet, we could go ahead and do one for you.
Meanwhile, I will stroke Sonny, the good luck cat. Aw.
Okay. Just a general? Let's do... I think what we'll do for you this time is, how about today, the month ahead, and 3 months from now? Does that sound good? give you a little bit of a broad overview of what might be going on. Yes, this cat is truly a meow. This cat is so gentle and sweet. But actually, all of our cats are in their own way. They really do have distinct personalities.
It's each other that they hate.
No, no, no.
Well,
that is so totally not true.
It's not totally unfalse.
They get into little spats. You know, they're siblings. They get into spats sometimes.
Can't they be like adults and just never talk to their siblings again?
Oh, jeez. That's not all of us. Some of us did talk to siblings. Okay, I didn't, but you talked to some of your siblings. All right, so I'm shuffling and she wants, okay, we're going to do, the first card's going to be, you know, what's coming up. Well, let's just say this week. We'll say this is this week, the month ahead, and then 3 months ahead. Okay.
Shuffling?
Yes. Oh, Sun Man. I have all kinds of nicknames for him. All right. And I guess you're cutting again. That's right, because I had me shuffle first. Card number 1 for this week. The 8 of Wands reversed. So the 8 of Wands reversed is telling me, don't overschedule yourself. You know, conserve some of your energy and make sure that what you're putting your energy into this week is things that are really worth your while. Don't waste time with things that don't matter. Spend it on things that matter.
This card tells me that there's a sense of exhaustion going on or will be going on, that it feels like somebody's been really focused and really working hard and spent a lot of energy, and now there's going to be a little bit, not a big, but a little bit of a crash, a little bit of a, I need to rest, I need a timeout.
Yeah, it could be timeout time. Although, yeah, absolutely. And he is a big cat. He's a huge cat. He takes up a lot of space.
He's about 15, 16 pounds.
Yeah, they're all a little overweight, but he, because of his size, is not as overweight as our little sassy cat is.
He's pretty proportionate.
Yeah, he's not that bad. Shadow, on the other hand, I can't figure out with our black cat if it's all the fur she has because she's kind of longer haired, or if it's fat. It's probably a little of both.
Pooed out lately, yes.
Well, you know, you just got back from a trip, didn't you? So maybe you're just a little out of sorts from that. It always takes a little bit of time to get back used to the old routine. The second card is for the month ahead.
And that's the 3 of Pentacles upright. This is a really cool card,
yes,
especially
it is.
for people who are in the arts in any form, whether you're just somebody who's behind the scenes or whether you are an artist or whether you're somebody who works with them to help them achieve certain things. This is a great card because this says that the application of your skills and talents will be able to be realized or will be enabled, will be utilized in this next week ahead.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it is the card kind of the master craftsman, somebody who is perfecting something. So maybe right now, you know, you should focus on perfecting something you've been working on.
The cards,
something that you've been putting your talents into.
The card seems to also indicate, too, that if it hasn't happened, you will be noticed for this, that somebody will say, wow, you did a really good job there.
Great job.
Or somebody might even say, we've been watching this and we're actually pretty pleased. So being noticed for what you do.
Whoa.
Oh, no.
Whoa, 3 months from now.
The Death card, which only means significant change, big change. I'm not going to say somebody's going to die.
Because that's not true.
Right. It's not.
That is not true with this card at all.
But it does indicate a big substantial change. Changes can be challenging, but also they can be rewarding. So it may be that this change will bring a little bit of everything.
Could they possibly be challenging and rewarding?
Yes, they possibly could be challenging and rewarding. Those are the best kind, right?
Those are the best kind. And basically, change is good in the most senses. Change that seems to be necessary is coming your way. And sometimes, the only death element to the death card is the fact that something has to give way or move aside so something else can be born. So, it may just be that you let something go, you change a particular mode of the way you live in order to create a new life for yourself, if that makes sense at all.
Smiling Soul's wondering if it's the four-leaf clover thing too.
Oh, yeah, the luck thing. Well, yeah, that's kind of fate and luck, and it can be tied into this,
Your
definitely.
luck could have a big change. Luck changes, so that could be a big change.
Well, and speaking of the Lenormand, okay, I want to make sure he's not laying on any, that I have them all here. I'm quite sure I do. I'm going to throw a couple of Lenormand cards for you. Poor cat. He is not such a poor cat. He's got it good over here, let me tell you.
He is the one who wakes me up every morning, literally at 5:30 or so, to feed him. He knows that I actually am awake. I'm usually wakeful from 5:30ish on, so maybe even a little earlier. And he will take advantage of that. He says, I know you're awake there, so I'm going to come over. I'm going to lay on your chest and look right into your face until you get up and go downstairs and pour me some cat food. What you got, Bansh?
Well, Smiling Soul, you might very well be interested in this one. I have what is called the Path card. And then, to go along with that, because I always pair them up, I have the Gentleman card. So what could this indicate? Could this indicate possibly the dream person? Or could this be indicating somebody else? It seems to me you're going to have some choices to make in regards to a person in your life. Or this person who may be coming into your life may radically alter, the path you are taking.
Well, I don't know if it's metaphoric, but in the picture of the gentleman, there's a tiger behind him. It seems like it could be metaphoric because he's sort of fadey on one end there. But I'm thinking okay, so when is a gentleman a tiger? I don't know if I want to know that answer.
Well, I'm kind of thinking maybe that's just to emphasize the masculine energy of the card.
Spirit,
yeah,
that kind of thing. The cross, you call it the path, but it says crossroads.
Yes.
And when I see something that's a crossroads, I always think different paths, different choices. So it could be saying to me that this brave gentleman may be the person who will be bringing some changes to you or showing you a different path to walk.
Well, and the crossroads also, because it also means paths, it also means decisions or options. So, I mean, it just means that maybe you'll have some type of decision you're going to have to make.
Okay.
Okay.
Another dream.
Oh, okay.
We'll be looking
Absolutely.
forward to seeing that.
Yeah, definitely. I will look and see if I can give you any advice on that.
So now what are we doing?
Well,
we have some other people in our room who are watching. I don't know if anybody's in there and wants a reading, but we are offering free readings tonight. So
yeah, hi everybody. Welcome. If you're
else
just tuned in,
out there who would like a reading, just speak
let
up.
us know if you have any questions or just want to say hi in the chat.
The Floyd. Welcome back, the Floyd.
Oh, hi there.
Okay, so coming your way in the months ahead. So we're going to do what?
We'll do this month, 3 months from now, and 6 months from now. How about that?
Okay.
And of course, maybe I'll try something a little different this time with my Lenormand. Do you want to shuffle first this time? I'm going to let you shuffle, and I'm going to shuffle again and cut them. So I think I should cut them this time.
I think you should too.
I think I should too. I think I should 3.
So the Floyd may have been here earlier or may not, but we had some weird technical difficulties because this is probably our first actual real flying solo. We put all the cameras and scenes and all the software together ourselves, and boy, it was a little freaky because I did have to call our producer who's
Yes, we had to make a call.
somewhere else, and he guided me through a part of the function that I didn't quite remember.
And so if the cameras are a little crooked or we're not totally in the sync today, I guarantee you we'll work out some of these kinks on Sunday when we have a little bit more time to play around.
Yeah, my other engagement at work, I get home literally with just about an hour to get this all set up and maybe scarf down a little bit of food and be ready to go. All right. Thank you for saying that, Smiling Soul. We hope we give the Floyd a good one, too.
All right.
Take it away, Banshee.
Okay, so what do we have for this month on the agenda? Oh, it's the Seven of Pentacles reversed. And the Seven of Pentacles reversed kind of indicates to me that maybe some of your plans and things that you were hoping for didn't quite pan out yet. There might be some delays. What do you think?
Well, I think that it could also mean, too, that some of those delays will right themselves, but it may take the balance of the month. It could just be that in general, prior to about now, you were a little bit of a holding pattern. Maybe there were some projects, but maybe you were not quite ready to finish them. Maybe you got a little lazy, or maybe there was something else that distracted you. But I think over the next month, some of that's going to right, and you're going to find a way to refocus. And these projects are usually about making money in some form, I think.
3 months from now.
3 months from now, this is not a great card. But we don't want you to feel like you need to sign over your insurance to someone. It's the Ten of Swords, and it literally looks like the most gruesome stab in the back ever. But it doesn't always mean that exactly. It doesn't mean the physical stab in the back. What it does mean, though, is that there is a serious
emotional hit coming, perhaps?
Well, it also may indicate, too, that there are some bad hombres out there, maybe, who are possibly messing with you. It is talking about evil forces. The evil forces could be realized as actual people who are your enemies, but it could just also be some forces that are in motion that maybe are going to affect you. An example would be there's a management shuffle where you work at and suddenly your position was just eliminated. It wasn't
He's thinking
personal.
of going back to work, he just said.
Well, hopefully it'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's relating to your work or your personal life. That's a little unclear to me.
This is in 3 months from now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to try to clarify this once we're finished with the last card. I'm going to draw some Lenormand for this. And, oh, we got that again. Interesting.
Somehow we have not shuffled very
I
well.
shuffled them very well.
Well, it came up again, only this time it came up reversed, and it was the Death card. It came up earlier for another reading. The Death card reversed, and Death, of course, never, never, never. Hi, Larita. Hi. Oh, I'm so glad you joined us, Larita. Thank you very much.
Hi, Larita.
Anyways, we're reading for the Floyd, and this card reversed, the Death card. To me, that indicates that there's some major inertia going on somewhere. Is this the 6 months? He says
probably his personal life. That's
he might have been referring to
6 months from now.
Because it came up earlier. This is 6 months from now. And this one is probably not related to the Ten of Swords. It could be, but I'm thinking this one just really says that in about 6 months, there's something that really slows you down. It's inertia. It could just be the weight of the world, because sometimes this card has that sort of like everything in the world is bothering you. Maybe it's politics, but maybe it's the economy. Maybe it's any number of things. Try to just hang tight with that, because it won't be forever. I sort of feel that it'll pass, but it might take another month or two before that actually does pass.
You know, considering what you've gone through at the 3 month mark, it's like, you know, coming up to the 6 month mark, you're probably going to want to lay a little bit low anyway, is what it sounds to me like. But what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to do a brief Lenormand reading for each of these cards. I just want to get a little bit more detail here. So I'm going to try to do this quickly. And I'm going to take one from the top and one from the bottom. Okay, so for your first card, which was the Seven of Pentacles, I drew with that one the lilies and the sixth. I always have problems saying that. The sixth? Sixth? Whatever. It's obviously a cutting device, which is interesting because the Seven of Pentacles is kind of a farmer card. So that's kind of interesting that it came up
Good
there.
point. Yes.
But I think what it's saying is that there's going to be some long-term changes that you're going to have to make. I think some changes that you're going to have to take some swift action that will cause some changes to happen. I think it's after these plans are delayed or whatever this is that you're going to have to take some action swiftly to right things again.
And I only work with the images because I don't know Lenormand, but the lilies seem pleasant with the frogs floating on them. But on the other hand, sometimes frogs bring us things that we don't always want. I'll just say that. That's all I'm going to say. It could be things that we don't want.
Okay, if you think it's in your personal life, the second card, I tend to agree with you possibly, but because you've got the cross, which in the Lenormand is kind of a card of death, but I'll explain that in a minute. And also you have the ring, which to me indicates some bond or something of value. So what I think it's saying in this case is the ending of something of value to you, and it's probably a relationship of some sort. And so this could also be the Floyd that it could be a work relationship, for example, is severed permanently. It could be some other kind of relationship that maybe you've been barely hanging on to is severed permanently. And it may have something to do with this. It looks like it has something to do with this backstabbing incident.
Now, Banshee said that the backstabbing or this card meant something in about 3 months. And I'm going to just go out there and say, is there somebody that maybe you're particularly close to? I don't know if it's an actual relationship or just something that's close. And there's a feeling here that maybe this person might do something really untoward and maybe possibly totally jeopardize that relationship. And so I see the cross as being an ending there. And what did you say about the ring? The ring is sort of the bond, signifies
right,
the bond.
it's like a bond. So in other words, it could be somebody you're bonded with. It could be also like a contract of some sort, like with work or, even an apartment or a house, a contract.
Yeah, I have a sad feeling that this relationship, it seems it's a relationship of some sort of friendship or another
This is a relationship, yeah.
Is probably going to be ending in a few months, and it may be because of bad actions being taken. So I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't have better news, but I hope at least it's giving you a little bit more clarity of what we were getting at here. Because also I do see a pattern, because there's something here now with the Death Reversed card I want to bring to your attention.
And this was 6 months away.
Yeah. And so the Death Reverse card was kind of inertia and stagnation. And with it, we have the Heart. And what is the other one again?
Oops. And the other one
The Anchor.
is the Anchor.
Which is really interesting getting it with the Death card reversed. Because the Anchor card, when you put an anchor down and a boat, what does it do? It keeps a boat in place, right? No movement. And it kind of sort of ties right in with the Death card in that regard.
Yes,
so
it does.
it is showing that there is stagnation. And since we have the Heart there, it seems like the stagnation is with relationships. And I hate to say it because that's like in the 6-month time frame. So, knowledge is power, and these cards are not an absolute science, as we know. And as you have this knowledge, maybe there are things you're going to be able to do along the way here to help, manipulate and change your future.
I think I could go with that. I mean, that's what I'm feeling too, is that there's definitely some big stuff going on in 6 months, and I'd say it could be even the lingering effects of what happened 3 months prior to that. Like maybe, so there's some attempt to recalibrate or something like that, but there's too much inertia, there's too much baggage there that's keeping that from happening, and that maybe you need to pull up the anchor and get out of place.
That's a very good way of
Because
putting
the
that.
anchor is holding you in place, so maybe you just need to pull it up and move on, and maybe something else better can happen.
And see, the more I use the Lenormand cards, the better he's getting at them. Amazing.
Well, that was pretty interesting.
Well,
I like that
and I'm
reading.
sorry it was not a very happy reading, but what I would ask you, because I hate to leave you on. Okay, I will definitely read it later, Smiling
Thanks,
Soul.
Smiling Soul.
Thank you. But before we let you go, Floyd, do you have any, question that's a yes/no question that we might be able to answer for you?
And let me do that with my deck.
Okay, certainly. Why, you think mine has bad luck now?
No, I just want to use
I
my
think
cards.
I am going to shuffle them a little more just to make sure. And Larita, if you're still with us, we'll be happy to do a reading for you once we're done with this. And if you don't have anything else, the Floyd, that's okay. Yeah, Smiling Soul, we can give you a yes/no. Can you hang on for just a little bit? And we'll...
Oh,
Oh, well, you already have a question.
you mean like it's knocking on the door saying, "Can I get a room here?" What? No.
Uh-oh. Okay, the Floyd did have one. Will I get this apartment I just tried for?
Okay.
All right, we'll let him use his cards. I'm going to shuffle these a little better.
Will the Floyd get the apartment he is trying to get? Want to shuffle these?
Oh, I love it. You can just barely see Sunny's paw, our cat's paw, in the camera frame there. And now they're playing Paw Wars. It's a little side entertainment for us here while we talk to you all.
Sonny, you're a star.
Okay, I'm going to cut. Okay, so will he get the contract?
The apartment.
The apartment he just tried for.
Cross your fingers.
It'll take us a second to lay these out. Okay, well, that's a fruitful card.
Yes, it is.
And we'll show you them in just a second. No.
He's giving it a blessing. I think that was 13.
I'm not sure.
One more?
Mm-hmm.
2 more.
I knew it. I thought I counted 11. Okay. Well, it's leaning towards no, but it is not a definite no by any means because you have some positive cards here. The Empress is one of the cards, and it's upright. And the Empress is a card of creativity and growth and beautiful things. So it is a very positive, growthful card. If you do not get this particular apartment that you want, there's probably something better for you. It seems as though, what would you say with that card coming up with it? The Two of Swords.
Well, I get the feeling like depending on who has to make the decision is not going easily. Is it possible that the people who are choosing to rent are wondering if they really want you to rent there? Maybe they're just thinking about, how that initial interview or attempt felt. It's also possible too that maybe you feel that although you're trying to get this apartment, that maybe there are some unanswered questions of your own, some things that maybe you don't quite understand or know fully. And so maybe once you know more about that, that might actually change your mind about whether you would want it. But right now, we sort of see as a smaller chance of yes that you might get it.
Yeah, and if you do get it, expect maybe some delays here. I think that's what's going on. There's a time factor here. Nothing is moving on it at the moment. That's what the Two of Swords to me seems to indicate.
I'm willing to say that you probably did see it, of course, and look at it and, talk to people, and that it does seem to me like the
I'm sorry.
apartment is really special to you. Like it has a nice look. You feel really warmed by it. So you may just have to try to pursue it and figure out what all the questions are that are going on there.
Okay, so we're going to do things in order here. So, Smiling Soul, if you could hold on, I want to see if Larita had a question for us.
Larita, you are up. So if you have a question or if you would just like a general reading, you are welcome. And we'll get with you in a little bit.
And you're welcome, the Floyd. Check back in with us. Let us know how it turned out. Okay, Larita, was that a yes for a general reading?
If you have a question, just go ahead and type it in or just say general and we'll go with that. Alrighty.
Okay.
How do we want to do that?
Well, okay, a general reading would be wonderful. Okay, so...
You want me to shuffle?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to just see if I have something that might... Okay, we'll do a nice standard one I have here, a 3 card. Your life at present, the attitudes you have right now towards things, and where things are headed in the next 3 to 6 months. And I'll, of course, also add in some of my Lenormand cards.
Okay, on you, and I'm rocking that table there. I put some unintentional noise on.
I did shuffle already, did I not?
Oh, you did? Okay.
I think, well, maybe I didn't. So let me do it again.
Shuffle again.
Let me shuffle again. What does it hurt? I was trying to mix them up real good, just in case, because, sometimes the cards have a way of coming up the way they come up, no matter how much you shuffle them. All right.
First card.
The first card is the life at present.
Oops. The first card, your life at present, is the Ten of Wands. This card says there's a lot of hard work going on right now, and that to some degree you feel like maybe you're a little stretched handling everything. You're handling it well, but you're just sort of feeling the pressure a little bit.
And all I have to say to that is burdens, burdens, burdens. You feel maybe you're carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders right now, mentally, physically, spiritually, and you sure wish you could maybe push a little bit off on somebody else, where you're kind of maybe thinking, where's the help when you need it, sort of thing. So that's what I'm sensing right now with this card. Your attitudes right now, you have a very positive attitude going for yourself. That's the Chariot upright.
And I love this card. The Chariot upright talks about people's drive and ambition. So it usually is talking about how we weather the projects that we're faced with. Some of those are projects that we're keenly interested in. Some are just things that we do have an obligation to do. But you seem to have enough drive and ambition to really pull yourself into the running with that. Sometimes when I see this card, I think that maybe it means somebody maybe is buying another car or they're selling a car.
Oh, yeah.
Or they're having problems with a car, or they've just had their car fixed or detailed or remodeled. So I'm wondering if that's a possibility too, just something going on with your car.
Well, that's so down to earth for you, Mr.
I know.
Oberon.
It's just one of
You're
those
usually
things.
out there in the ozone with your interpretations, but that's pretty.
So what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's pretty good actually. But what I would say to that card is also if we look at it in relation to the previous card.
She says last week.
Oh, wow.
The
Okay.
car problem or
Interesting.
car situation, or you bought a new car?
Huh.
Interesting.
Well, if I put these two cards together, the Ten of Wands with your attitudes here, I would say even though you have these burdens and this feeling of, oppression, you wear it well. You wear it well. You seem to have enough drive and energy to forge through everything. But we're all only human, and sometimes we do wish we could get cut a break sometimes.
Well, sometimes some of us just really are that much more ambitious than the next person. And so this could be saying that these are the cards of somebody who has a lot of ambition, has a lot of goals, and it is important to keep focused.
Very good. And this is where things are headed in the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, now you saw how much we shuffled these cards. This is the third time tonight we have gotten the Death card. But don't be alarmed.
The death card, go ahead.
Only be alarmed if you don't like change.
Yeah, the death card really is talking about profound and impacting changes in your life. It is rarely, if ever, about a physical death. It may be about the death of figurative things, of metaphoric things, but it is not a literal death. So my thought here is that in 3 to 6 months, something big is happening that maybe will create a real dynamic level of change. That one that maybe I could even say you don't even see it coming right now, possibly.
Big changes coming your way. So I'm going to do what I did for the Floyd because I think it's kind of helpful to do it. It takes a little longer, but actually it gives a little bit more information. Oops, that's not the way I go. Oh, interesting. Mountains and the book.
So these are the Lenormands.
So I drew for the Ten of Wands card, which is basically in the position of things at present, the burdens you're feeling. And the Mountains card is an indication of obstacles. Mountains. You got to climb those mountains. It's not easy climbing a mountain. And so it indicates that there might be some obstacles, some setbacks, some delays. Maybe some of these burdens that you're feeling, you're feeling that really holding you back from doing some other things you really want to do. And couple that with the book, I think what it is saying is maybe you're going to find something out that will help you through your difficulties.
Well, I think that actually that is the point of it, that the first card here, which suggested a lot of work to do, the work is about finding out something. The work is about moving to a vantage point on a mountain above, overhead, being able to look around and see more, and maybe in that action of seeing more, knowledge, which is represented by the book. So somehow your hard work is going to pay off because it's going to allow you to find out key significant things that you needed to know.
Okay, and with the Chariot card, which is this drive and energy that you have going for you, you have the 6, which is the clouds, and you have the lucky clover. Smiling Soul had the lucky clover last week. And so this is an interesting combination where it's at. Again, it's about your attitude. And basically, maybe some of the heavy feeling you have from the Ten of Wands or whatever has caused a little bit of depression and heaviness to set in. But never fear, because the lucky clover is there to dispel all of that. It's basically taking away a lot of that, and it's saying, because of the kind of person you are, all this drive and energy that you're putting forth, you're going to be able to make it through, these rough spots here.
Can you explain the cloud again for me?
The clouds think about clouds, they indicate kind of gloom, depression, confusion sometimes as well.
So to me, I'm thinking that a big part of your ambitious nature is because it helps you deal with those kind of things. That when you find yourself on a goal and find yourself working hard for a project, you can put aside maybe any little cloudy thoughts that you might be having and instead focus on where the opportunities for luck are.
That's very good. Yes, nicely done. I guess I'm teaching you this as we go.
Soon, well, you know, you surpassed me in tarot. Yes, I have to admit it. I taught her how to read the tarot many moons ago, but she has surpassed me. Who wonders if I could surpass her in Lenormand? I already know the answer. Not a chance.
I think he could. But anyway, the death card that we showed you, wait till you see the cards that are covering the death card. We have the Star
Stars.
and the Lady, which in this case is you. And so you, the stars are obviously a card of hope and aspirations and, just a lot of optimism. And so whatever change you're going to be undergoing in the next 3 to 6 months is obviously going to be a positive one. And it's going to really give you a lot of hope.
Larita, are you thinking of pulling up stakes and moving out of the area? I'm just getting a intuitive flash that maybe this change is really big and that it's something that maybe you've actually wanted most of your life or for a very long time, and that you are thinking you are. You know what? You probably told me that once, right? I'm no psychic. I think you told me that. It's Arizona or somewhere, right?
Interesting. Well, at least you are an honest tarot reader. Wow. So that's very interesting. But I would say 3 to 6 months from now, a change is definitely in the works for you. Maybe it's the beginning of the change, that
I
this
won't let you move
transitions.
out of the area if you don't promise to come to the live stream once in a while.
Well, North Carolina. Okay.
Isn't that where Brenda's sister moved to? No, she was gonna move there, but she ended up not doing that.
Well, I hope that gave you some insight today, Larita, and you enjoyed that.
Absolutely. Keep us in the loop.
Okay. And Smiling Soul, you were asking about you wanted a yes/no about a baby, I believe.
All right.
Is there something we need to know here,
You're
Smiling
very
Soul?
welcome, Larita. Thank you.
We will find out. We will do a reading. You are still with us, right, Smiling Soul?
Now, is this just a baby coming to visit, or is it something else? So on point. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Appreciate
thanks
that.
a lot. Well, awesome. We're glad we can help.
It's something about her dream, I guess.
Oh, okay. So I guess we'll ask a yes/no. And how do you want to say it? Is there a baby coming to Smiling Soul in the near future?
Well, she's asking if she's going to have one. Of course, that still is having one could still imply more ways than one. Some people have a baby because they adopt a baby.
I know
because
that.
they marry into a family that has
I
children.
am well aware. I wasn't even. Okay.
Will Smiling Soul have a baby?
Well, we're going to do it as a yes/no for now, and maybe I'll toss some Lenormand on that one and see if anything comes up indicating that.
I mentioned earlier, and I don't know if everybody was there or not, that I responded to a U.S. Games who does a lot of tarot cards question, and they asked if anyone does Lenormand cards or Oracle cards alongside their tarot readings. And I said, why, we've been doing that with a lot of our readings, which we've done tonight for everybody. And so I think I got a little plug for TFT Tarot for today with US Games.
Which is really interesting because I just sort of came up with my method of doing it.
But I've always had a method like that. I had heard that from at least a good 20 or more years ago that, it was about 25 years ago is when I started doing it, that some people would read runes with their cards, like bring out a rune to sort of throw it in there and get them, you know, an extra meaning or fragrance there of some sort. So it does happen. People psychometrize while they read cards. Okay, you got our reading here for Smiling Soul. What do you think?
Well, it's leaning towards no, Smiling Soul, actually. There may be some. There may be some not so good. Well, let's show the cards. You did get the Ace of Pentacles reversed, but it was only one ace. Ace indicates whether it's going to be yes or no. The more aces, the more likely yes. The Eight of Wands came up again, reversed, and that's kind of again talking about being tired or not. Well, I would just say not in the frame of mind for it right now.
I like your tips, by the way, too. Thank you.
And also the Page of Cups reversed is indicating that emotionally, maybe you're not prepared for that yet.
Well, I'm going to just go out there and say that sometimes babies in dreams are absolutely symbolic of other things. A baby in a dream could be symbolic of something else that's new coming into your life. A baby in a dream could also mean responsibilities that you're going to be given, because a baby is a lot of responsibilities for people. So it is possible that the dream doesn't mean the actual physical dynamic of a child being born or coming into your life as part of your family. It could just mean that there's something else that in some ways symbolically is as wonderful as a baby, but also a lot of responsibility.
It could mean something new. And remember, in my family, my whacked out family it was always the opposite. Births meant deaths, deaths meant births.
My grandmother
It's
said
just
that.
the way it worked in my family. So I hesitate to say necessarily that the baby would mean a baby.
It's more often that dreams use
Metaphor.
images and metaphors. But it's not to say that they never do not foretell exactly.
Absolutely,
or
prophetic dreams.
Yeah.
I told the story the one time about my father who 2 weeks before he died dreamt he saw himself in a coffin and described it perfectly. And being only 10 at the time, that was pretty scary to me as a child. So LS, I see you are with us too. I just want to say hi again and stick with us if you want a reading. We'll be happy to provide one. We're doing readings free today. And I'm going to throw a couple Lenormand just to see if anything else comes up, Smiling Soul.
You have some great dreams. I wish I could dream about new cars. I'm still driving my old one.
This is very ironic. I just drew the child card in the Lenormand, but the child card also can mean something new or something small. In other words, little small baby steps taking or that something will be happening in a short period of time. And it's interesting because we also have the snake card. And the snake card is not always a happy kind of card. I could look at this a couple of different ways, actually. The snake card with the child could indicate a small health issue related to maybe your gastrointestinal tract. I don't want to get personal here, but that's possibly, think about the snake. It sometimes can mean intestines. And also, on a different level, the snake means what it sounds like, kind of sneaky, duplicitous behavior by someone that you shouldn't trust. So this could be a younger person, a child, or just somebody who's maybe very immature, who might be doing something really sneaky or underhanded with you. So if you think you know what that could be about, just keep that in mind and beware.
Well, to me, the child sort of is normally about innocence too, and that when we're childlike, we're innocent. But the card sort of looks to me like if this is an innocent child, she maybe is in an unsecure situation. She sort of, to me, has a doubtful look on her face, and she's surrounded by trees, and it doesn't seem exactly pleasant to me. So I'm not sure that this prognosis card is very great. It may just mean that sometimes you're going to have the wonder of a child to in order to think out of the box a little bit, that sometimes as children we see things in a different way than adults, and yet that may be what's called for at the time, to tap into the childlike wonder. Now with the snake, I just have to agree with Banshee that it does sound like maybe there's a little bit of undercutting going on with somebody. And if I was going to tie it into the school prospects, then maybe you're going to have maybe just a kind of nastier teacher, or a teacher's assistant or something like that, who isn't necessarily going to give you an easy time.
Well, maybe it's somebody who, doesn't spell out exactly what the expectations for the courses are, or what you're going to be studying. And so it might, when the first exam or test comes up, might leave you unprepared because, you didn't expect the kind of questions. In other words, it just seems like not all the cards are on the table in this situation. Okay, so LS wants to know about some info on love life. Anything specifically? Is it about a particular person, or is it just about relationships in general? If so, or maybe starting a new relationship? So I'm going to take a look at my love spreads while I wait to hear
You're
from you.
welcome, smiling soul. And thank you to everybody who's been in the chat room this evening. And please.
Dropping the cards.
Yes. Oh no. I guess we can't do that reading anymore.
Oh my goodness, don't step on my cards. Ah, tragedy.
Oops.
It's more about the Okay, all right. So let me see. Just want to see if I have anything in particular that might help.
Well, we can start with a yes or no and then take it from there. The basic question being, will there be a new love prospect for LS?
Anything meant to come soon. Okay.
A new possible romantic venture for LS. Is it coming soon?
Yeah, ask that as a yes, no. I will shuffle. And I have a follow-up we could possibly do.
Your turn to shuffle.
All right. So she basically is wondering if should be focusing on love, or if anything's meant to come soon, or if she should be focusing on something else. So we'll see what the cards say. Should you be focusing on love right now? It'll just take us a second. Please enjoy our cat Sunny as he relaxes. Well,
okay, I asked the question for LS, and so I'm going to answer that. We have two aces, which indicate for this reading that the chance is more likely yes. It is not a positive yes, but it's a good chance of yes that someone romantic venture will enter your life soon. That's how we asked the question. It's curious that we also got the Three of Cups, although reversed. The Three of Cups generally talks about good times that may also include weddings or commitments of marriage of some sort. When it's reversed, thank you for that. Sunny is an adorable cat. Thank you for that. When this card is reversed, it may indicate not exactly the opposite of that, especially when we're looking at the prospects for yes. It just may be that it won't necessarily be a deep, significant affair. It may be more of a light, frolicky affair. I'm not sure. Or maybe a shorter affair. What do you think that means?
Well, I'm not sure that it is talking about that so much as uh, maybe about you and your approach to this. The Three of Cups reversed, sometimes, when it's upright, it's a card of partying and celebration. When it's reversed, sometimes it means that in excess. And so what I'm getting when I look at this in the question is that maybe try not to work too hard on this. Try not to focus too much of your attention on this, because if you do, that might sabotage the process. In other words,
live and let live.
Let it happen. Open yourself up to the possibility, but don't obsess over it, because you might sabotage it from happening. I think that's what I'm seeing.
I understand what you're
here.
saying, yeah.
And also, if you do get this relationship, another caution would be to not get too starstruck right away. Don't just fall head over heels. Make sure you really get to know the person, because there's an indication here that moving too fast, too soon, too fast could be problematic.
And I don't see it exactly like that. I just sort of feel like maybe this one won't be a super serious one. This one might be more of a casual relationship.
Okay, I drew a couple Lenormand for some extra advice on this, and I drew the lilies and I drew the garden, which is very interesting. The lilies are a card of purity and maturity to some degree. It could be indicating, your maturity in the situation, and also this is very interesting that you've got the garden card, because the garden card is a card of social activities, and so it seems to me that I'm not going to say it's like on the internet or anything, but at some social gatherings where you are physically someplace, you may meet someone. It sounds like it will be maybe because we got the Three of Cups here, that it would be at a party or some kind of social gathering that you will encounter somebody who may end up being, a romantic interest.
Yes, I'm actually wondering then if it's possible that that you're going to any kind of wedding or
any kind of social big
party.
gathering.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be a wedding. It could be any kind of big event.
Sure, but it's what I feel.
It's what you feel.
Yes.
Well, okay. And this is where two tarot readers are better than one, because you can decide which one of us is right.
But if we were outside in 110 degrees, then it would be two tarot cards are sweatier than one.
Okay, that's really obtuse, Mr. O. So what I'm going to do now, I'll tell you what. I did see a reading here. The biggest events are going to work. Well, guess what? We met at work, and look what happened. 40 some odd years later, we're still together.
43.
43.
43
we haven't been married that long. That's how long we've been together.
About 38 in the fall, yeah.
So I'm thinking I have so don't discount work. I don't know if, maybe if there's nobody you're interested in there now, it is possible somebody new could come along. Well, it's an amazing story, our relationship. It's a pretty crazy one, actually, how we met, and also then how we got married, because our little library connection, we work in libraries. It didn't just end there. When we went to get married, we got married in the courts in the big city, and the judge just decided to take us and a couple other people in his chambers and marry us there after doing a few marriages before us. And so we went into his chambers, and I'm looking on his desk, and I'm like, gee, that stationery on his desk looks awfully familiar. And it turns out that he was a trustee on the board for the library that we worked at and met at. And he was marrying us. So how strange is that? Coincidence? There are no coincidences.
So, in keeping with the library theme, we decided that we should probably name our firstborn Dewey. But we didn't do that. Because no parent should be that cruel to their child.
Okay, I was looking at a reading here. Feelings about love and relationships, the current situation, and where things are headed now.
You have to cut it.
Yeah, that is wild. It's the story of my life. I have all kinds of bizarre synchronicities. Oh, I was supposed to cut them? Whoopsie. Bizarre synchronicities and timing things that happen for me and for us that is pretty amazing sometimes. Okay.
Yes, very Ludo.
Okay. So the first card is you're feeling about loves and relationships right now. And it's interesting that I pulled the Two of Swords because from what I gathered from what you said, things aren't going, anywhere right at present. They've kind of been stagnating or at a stalemate right now.
And I keep dropping the cards.
I know you do. And that's like what the Two of Swords represents here is things not moving right now. There's just like stability in your life, but as far as love and relationships go, there's not much happening. Do you have anything to add instead of playing with Sonny with my card?
Sorry,
I don't want him to eat it.
It's just so adorable. Could you say the position again for me?
It's feelings about love and relationships.
Well, it sounds to me, Ellis, like maybe within your own mind or within your own sense of emotionality that you sort of feel constrained a little bit and that maybe you feel you don't really want to make a decision. Like maybe there's just more you need to know before you feel you can make the decision or answer certain questions.
The current situation.
And that's the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So the current situation seems to indicate that right now you are struggling a little bit with your studies, with work, with things like that. You are trying to master or build yourself up, but there's some problems there because maybe there are things that are distracting you from really being able to focus on that goal.
I think this current situation about love and relationships, so it's part of the love and relationships reading. Okay.
Okay, well, you said the current situation.
Yeah.
But I always think about this in terms
of business, because it's such a business card.
Well, in a way, it's also just about a learning process, too. And so maybe...
yeah.
So maybe
Go
what
with that.
This could be saying is that in terms of how you are learning things right now, in terms of the emotionalities that you're wishing to project or you're wishing to be involved in, that you're not on firm footing here. You're sort of wondering if maybe you are actually approaching from the right level or not. You may be actually questioning how you are entering this whole picture.
I just want to get Sonny in the picture. He was just rolling around here. I'm sorry. I yanked the card away from him so I could get Sonny there, but...
Are you saying that the new environment of being single or being looking for the person you want to date or be with, that's the new environment?
Starling, because it's a new environment, you mean you moved or you're living somewhere else?
Well, it could be the new environment is trying to be out in the dating field, too.
Maybe. That's what we'll find out.
Okay. Well, go ahead with the next card if you want.
No, because I didn't interpret this one at all. That's all right. So I think the Eight of Pentacles reversed for me in this position of the situation you're in right now is that, there maybe needs to be a little bit more work to do on the self first before you move into another relationship. No, it's a new work environment. Oh, okay. Well, and that could be throwing you off kilter. It's possibly why we did get this card here. But I also sense some work needs to be done on a personal level with the self. I've always said to be sure that you are completely happy within and, you can look in the mirror every day with a true love of yourself, because only then are you ready to reach out to another person, an individual. And oftentimes, when you're feeling that self-love, those doors will start opening for you in a relationship level.
I'm going to ask you another question, Ellis, too. Is it possible, too, that there is at least one person or maybe more who maybe you feel is interesting in your work environment, and that this is where some of the questions about moving on a relationship or trying to get into a relationship are arising? Generally speaking, my opinion is although it worked out quite well for us, it's not always a good bet to
No,
date
no.
people from work.
Not
Um,
always, especially the boss. Don't do the boss.
don't do the
Oh, I
boss.
didn't mean it that way. Little
Yes, I hope
dirty
you
humor
didn't
from the
there.
Banshee here. R. So, okay, the final card is a new relationship or next steps in present relationship. And since you were asking about new relationships, I have pulled the King of Wands, but he's reversed. So it does seem like there's a possibility of somebody new entering your life. I would tread a little bit carefully with this person because this person's got a lot of energy, and sometimes
They're magnetic as anything.
that's true.
And
So they can really pull you in.
we don't really go strictly with the gender interpretations that are on the card. So although it looks like a man, we're not saying that this is a man. We're not saying it's a woman either. We don't even know.
We don't
You.
even, yeah, right. We don't even get into the gender,
Yeah, we
sexes
just
of the
try
people
not to
we
do
read
that.
for.
But it is saying that this is a really projecting magnetic personality.
Yes.
And you may want to really position yourself carefully with that person, because that person may be a person who is used to just really being the light of everyone's life, but maybe there's a substance quotient that isn't quite there. Like maybe they're just too much into flirtatiousness and not really the real deal.
I will go out on a limb here, though, and say this is possibly a fire sign person because it is, the element of fire. Wands are the element of fire. And like I said, it's a person with a lot of energy, but sometimes they can get a little bit aggressive or angry. So they might be a little bit, on some levels, pushing the envelope a little bit, maybe wanting to move too fast, with things. So I would suggest that if you meet such a person, take your time. Take your time.
Right, and you seem to see that too, that maybe, there's a part of you that does question whether you're ready or not too. So it is possible that you should heed your own inner intuition. I just get this feeling like that there is somebody in possibly that work environment that is a person that maybe will kind of sync with you at some point. I don't think it's
God.
going to be right away, but I do think that's going to happen there possibly.
Well, I drew a couple of Lenormand for the overall reading for this 3-card spread. And I pulled some very interesting cards here. As you can see, I have the ring and I have the fox. And the fox is an interesting character. We'll get to that one in just a moment. But the ring is about contracts and bonds. And yes, it could signify marriage. But more than that, it signifies a closeness and a bonding with people, between people. And sometimes that's a commitment in love or romance or career. And the fox, in a lot of Lenormand studies that I've done, a number of people think the fox has to do with work or coworkers. So I'm just throwing that out there again. But also the thing about the foxes kind of can be a shady character too, a little bit deceitful, a little bit sly. And so, like I said, remember I talked about this King of Wands person who may want to move a little bit too fast. Make sure that doesn't happen. And also, again, keep your eye out for something in the work environment, or maybe it is in a work environment. Like I was just thinking about the possibility here that maybe it's not on your job, but it's maybe somewhere you go to conduct business at. I don't know, for example, a bank. For example, a restaurant. Somewhere where you're doing something and you might meet somebody working there. I think I'm going to broaden it to that because I think that's possible as well. But I will say the fox card can indicate a coworker.
I do think that this fox is possibly the same kind of person or energy that is represented by this reversed King of Wands. So I don't necessarily know that it is a boss or not. And I don't necessarily know that it's a bad person. I get a different vibe, and I don't know the Lenormand, so I'm just going to say that the vibe I get is more of a clever person. So I think this is somebody who's a little flamboyant and clever. The red of the fox goes with the red of the wands to me. So I'm thinking this might be something that starts off very casually and a little bit flirtatious, but could possibly solidify into something better. I'm not going to say that it will or that it should. I'm just saying there is this potential with this situation. I'm feeling it.
Well, I hope that's given you something to go on. I think we had some very interesting cards here for this reading.
Indeed.
So we are at 8:26 now in our live stream.
Yeah, we've actually pulled through 3/4 of it just about.
And I thought I'd take a few minutes to talk about something else that, has come up in some discussions before on our live stream. We've talked about tarot and the use of affirmations in tarot, and how some people use the cards and just come up with an affirmation a day. And I mentioned the fact that I have some decks that actually do that. So I brought a couple things down here to show today that I have in my collection that are really quite nice.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome,
you.
LS.
I hope
and
it's helpful.
Feel free to come back
Yeah, if you
and
come back, you can tell us
subscribe. We're doing free readings for the foreseeable future, and I can tell you we will always be doing free readings on our live stream pretty much, and then at some point we'll be offering more in-depth readings, for donation, or we haven't even decided yet on our, off camera. We may send videos.
But we
We're
do want to
working
do
all of
more
that out.
detailed, longer readings, and maybe where there's more interaction between us and
Yes.
the client. And for those, we probably will try to set up something to receive donations or some sort of reimbursement.
So this particular thing I have is, maybe it's that one's better, I don't know that view, is the Tarot of Affirmations. And it's basically every single tarot card, and they're a handful. They're a very big deck of cards. As you will see in a moment, they're wide. They have affirmations on each card. So it's very simple. You would just shuffle the cards and draw a card at random, and these would be your daily affirmations. So for example, I have one on top here, and it is the Emperor. And I'm just going to, again, maybe it's better up there. I know you can't read it, so I will read it to you, but it's just basically to show you that it is the card image and the affirmations next to the card on the image. So you have everything right here. You don't have to go to a book. It's all right here. And so for the Emperor, for an example, here are the affirmations for the Emperor card. I am achievement. I have the power to translate my dreams into reality. I order and structure my life to create a stable base for my activities. I define my limits and establish boundaries for myself and for my world to smooth my relationships and protect my inner authority. I respect my vision, use my reason to prepare a plan, and act in disciplined ways to achieve my ambitions. I value my accomplishments, honor my success, and use my experience to empower others. It's a very awesome idea and so uplifting. And also, maybe on the card, not all of these affirmations make sense for you, and one of them stands out and is calling to you. So you can focus on that in the day ahead. And oftentimes people say when you pull a card like this, keep it somewhere, either carry it with you, keep it somewhere where you can see it. Like if you're go in your bedroom a lot, you have it by a mirror that you pass and you can look at it, focus on it during the day, and keep those thoughts in mind to help empower yourself. I'm just going to draw one at random here from the rest of my deck and read another one to you, just see what it is. Oh, this is a good example of a card that sometimes has some negative connotations in the tarot, and I often have difficulty reading it. It's just a difficult card, the Seven of Swords. And so now you're going to be able to see how we can make affirmations out of a somewhat negative card and what kind of advice they would give you. So basically, the Seven of Swords affirmations are, I am seeking a solution to a threat that appears to be beyond my control. I am using my mind to develop a strategy to deal with this problem. I am determined to overcome threats to my personal development. I look for new opportunities to strengthen my power and control. I am open to alternative ways to confront problems openly in ways that support my growth. So that just gives you an example of what this deck has to offer. And the Tarot of Affirmations, just to give you a little bit more information, was published by U.S. Games. Sally Hill did the text on it, and they used, of course, Pamela Coleman Smith's illustrations, and they were recolored by Mary Hanson Roberts.
They're beautiful.
They are beautiful, and this is a really awesome deck just to have around. I bring it out frequently for myself. And with that vein, I also have one other thing I've talked about before. This deck, I think I can show this one here, is called the Art of Life Tarot. And basically, the Art of Life Tarot is by Charlene Livingstone. It is done by U.S. Games as well. It was made in 2012. This is a deck that has artwork on each card, and then it has an affirmation, or if you want to even call it an interpretation, on each card. It's like a quote from different people. So you get artwork and quotations from famous people to go along with it. So that is the card of what you are holding up. I think that's the world. And the world.
All that Adam had, all that Caesar could, you have and can do. Build, therefore, your own world.
I like.
That's nice. Yeah.
And so, and then of course the artwork on there is Michelangelo. Isn't that right? Yes, that's Michelangelo, I'm sure.
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci.
Hello.
The Da Vinci Code. Hello. Sorry. Wrong artist. Shows you my love of art or lack thereof. Now, this one's by George Frederick Watts, and I think it's called Endymion. And this is for the lovers. And I want to read the quote first. The quote on here is, the heart has reasons that reason cannot know. And you can hold that one up.
It sort of looks like Eros and Psyche. No, not really.
Now, the beauty of this deck is, you remember how I said you should put it somewhere where you can see it? This deck was designed with that in mind, because also this is art, and it's got a saying on it, but it's art. They treat it like a piece of art, and they made, with this box, a frame for each card. Let me just show you how this works here. You see the box folds like that, and then it's got a little stand there, and then you can take it. There's a window here, and hopefully I can get it in there. So basically you just slide the card in the window, just taking technical difficulties. Now, it's not that hard usually. It's only because I want to show it off that it's hard.
Or because you're a perfectionist and it has to be done.
Well, you got to see everything through the window now. There we go. So see, you can see the card through the window and the saying. It stands it up for you. It's really quite awesome. So very clever, very well thought out deck of cards. I saw some reviews on this deck once that complained about some of the artwork not being up to snuff, or maybe they would have put different artwork with different cards. You know, hey, everybody could do and plot the tarot differently. I respect the author's choices, and I like it for what it is. I would not show this to you otherwise. I'm almost always going to only show you things that I find of value. So that's a couple little show and tell items I brought down for the show today.
Very nice, Banshee. Thank you.
Thank you.
So maybe we should just do some random readings to get us through the rest of the show.
Well, maybe, unless anybody else is still watching and wants to ask us another question. And then we
Yeah.
could always do our tarot for tomorrow, you
Yeah,
know.
we should do that too, of course.
Yeah. So let me get these cards shuffled. And why don't we focus on our tarot tomorrow and get that done? And then if
Okay.
anybody else has a question, we'll be glad to answer it. So every day we draw one card for the next day, and we post it on Facebook and Twitter. So you can check out our tarot for tomorrow on Facebook and our tarot tweet for tomorrow on Twitter.
And I'm showing the thank you for watching, and it's okay to enjoy. I'm showing our stream schedule. We are, like tonight,
Okay.
Thursday 7 to 9, and then we're also on Sundays from 2 to 4. Occasionally we have other content that involves talking more in depth about different card decks that we might review.
Awesome. And thanks for finding us and tuning in.
There we are on Facebook.
I am rather new to the Twitter thing, I will say, but I'm starting to slowly acclimate. It is fun. I've been hooking up with a lot of people already. Well, a lot for me is I've got 20 people I'm following right now, but there will be more. Oh, yes.
Well, in addition to meeting 43 years ago, we met in June of 1976. We were both two young kids going to college. You were 18 and I was 19 or thereabouts.
Going on
And,
20.
No, actually, I was 20.
Yeah,
I
you were
guess.
20
I was 20
because,
and you were
right,
19.
time
yeah.
of year.
Yeah. And I quickly drew you into my web of tarot cards.
That's because I read cards since I was a child, but I read a regular deck of playing cards. I knew nothing about the tarot. He basically taught me everything I know, but I used to do cartomancy with a regular deck of playing cards, and I still do to this day. And that's why I like the Lenormand cards, because the Lenormand cards kind of combine, regular deck of playing cards with other imagery.
Well, it was so fascinating to me that I had to exploit it immediately. And I was in a folklore class at Wayne State University, and her and another tarot card reader ended up being in my final project, which was accepted into the Wayne State Folklore Archives. And basically I did a comparison of a tarot reader with a regular card reader.
Yes. I'm finding them very fascinating. Okay, tomorrow. Well, tarot tweet for tomorrow and tarot Facebook for tomorrow.
So this is our card for tomorrow, for those who
is
don't-
going to be the Queen of Pentacles reversed.
It's a lovely card.
It's a lovely card, but it is reversed. And by the way, we're using the Robin Wood Tarot deck tonight from Llewellyn, I believe, published that deck.
I agree with you, Ellis. That's why I can kind of just get that image from the card, because they are very literal. I think, too, I have to admit that when I was much younger, literally a teenager, 13, I had the old Gypsy Witch fortune-telling deck, which had very similar
To the Lenormand.
to the Lenormand, the same kinds of images and stuff like that. So some of that might just be embedded in there a little
And I
bit.
believe it really is a form of the Lenormand, because there aren't too many cards in that deck that
Yeah.
are different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Okay,
very
so
close.
we drew the card for tomorrow. This card is a card for the entire audience and just represents some sort of essence or energy that we may find present. And it's the reverse Queen of Pentacles.
Yes. Hold on to your resources tomorrow. Not a good day to spend. And as a matter of fact, beware of some things that could come up that could cause a little loss of money, maybe. Some unexpected problem that you have to take care of. So I'd be very frugal. Don't go, not a good day, I guess, for me to play the lottery tomorrow, I'd say.
And I would say, too, that this card sort of represents a person who normally is a very crafty person, a person who can just make things happen, just likes to work and just gets busy. And now, though, maybe tomorrow they've lost their muse a little bit. They're just not quite that inspired to do those things they normally do that make life nicer for a lot of people. So tomorrow is maybe the day of an inner rainstorm that just kind of dampens the mood a little bit.
And that is also a good point, is that this could be qualities that our audience is expressing tomorrow, but also this could be somebody that you encounter tomorrow.
That's true, yeah.
Who could kind of muck up the works a little bit.
It's an unamused muse.
Well, I would also say it's not somebody that you could rely on to get the job done tomorrow. If you're working with a partner, if you're working with an associate or an assistant, they're not going to be too reliable tomorrow. And it's Friday, I'm already kind of in my weekend mode, wishing. But no, we have to go to work tomorrow, so. And no, we don't still work at the same library, by the way, but we still work in libraries, the two of us. One of us went on to get their master's degree, and the other one did not. And as a matter of fact, our son works in libraries. And so that Sunman is rolling over for us now. So you wandered away.
I'm hearing a phone go off.
Oh.
And I can't find it, so.
It must be mine, but I don't know where I put it. Okay.
And we don't normally like to do that.
I did not even hear that.
Yeah,
I thought I turned it down. Okay.
So next time, just don't mention anything. we don't want everybody to know that there's
Avon calling.
a man behind the curtains. Except
could you put on the other camera a moment?
Why, yes, I can.
Me and Sonny are having wrestling wars. He does that with me once in a while.
He might take a bite out of your cards. I don't know.
Oh, he won't. So that's our tarot tweet for tomorrow.
And that'll be later placed on our Facebook page, and then it also gets sent over to Twitter.
One of the other things we do, and we're not doing it today, but we will do it on Sunday. LS, you might be interested in this fun activity.
LS would like to work at a library.
Oh, well, hey.
Most libraries are hiring at least part-timers. So if you're just looking for part-time employment, most public libraries are probably hiring in general.
I don't want to make that generalization. That could be a Michigan thing. The problem with Michigan is we're a highly competitive state for librarians. True. Because there are 2 library schools in Michigan. So we graduate a lot of librarians. So companies and that, they kind of take advantage of that, and they're only hiring part-time librarians. So, they get out of paying some of the benefits and things like that. But I'm not saying that's necessarily a national trend. It could be, but I'm not going to say that for certain. But I would say I love working. I've never looked back. I started to study journalism as my major in college, and I did end up getting my undergraduate degree in journalism. Then I went on to get my master's degree in library science, because along the way of getting my degree, well, we were working in libraries. We had worked in libraries, and I loved working in libraries so much that I decided to stay. And so I went and became a librarian, and the rest is history. I even got to use some of my journalism background because I do some public relations work at my library. So it works for me.
And then we even got our son to work at a library.
Yes, our son works at a library as well. And I wish he would finish school and go back to school, but he's made quite a career, a paraprofessional career in a library, and has done quite well for himself.
Just like I did.
Yeah, just like you, just like father, like son, like father.
Indeed. So let's do a quick Lenormand reading for the audience.
Oh, really? All right.
Why don't you read for me just something quick, down and dirty?
Well, it is a quick reading. And so let's see what we can take from this.
Do I have to ask a question?
Do we want to do a reading for ourselves? How about we do a reading for the 2 of us?
Okay, that sounds good.
Ooh.
Could be scary, right?
It could be scary.
If we're immediately disconnected. I don't know why that happened. I don't know.
And stay tuned because next month is the beginning of our anniversary season, as I like to call it. We'll be having the anniversary of our first date next month. So maybe we'll do some little special reading for that. And
We should get out the Ouija board.
no.
We
And
could call my father because that's his birthday
that's
too.
his, well, it's October 5th. Yes, that's right. Our first date was on his father's birthday. It's awesome.
Oh.
All right. Here, you shuffle the
I'm gonna tell
cards.
you. Yeah. This is a reading for both of us. Do I cut?
No, they do not get cut. And for this reading, and a lot of readings, I like to do this when I'm just laying out a couple pairs of cards in positions. I'll take one card from the top and one card from the bottom to do it. So the first two cards I'm going to lay out is a window into ourselves at this point in time.
A lot of my best friends in life were born in October. I have more born in January, but there was a point in my life where most of my best friends were Libras or born in October. My father is born in October. One of my favorite bosses was born in October. Those charming Libras, yes. Don't let that fool you.
And actually,
Don't let that fool you.
I answered something on Twitter today that asked what's my best sign, and I assumed it was the best sign that I get along with. And I said Libras, because I've always gotten along really well with Libra men, and his father and I, we were good buds.
Yeah, I thought he was more interested in you than I was at one point.
Now,
That one dance at that wedding.
and some of my best friends have been Libras, so it's very interesting. I'm a fire sign. I am an Aries. So at any rate, this card here, the cards for us, a window into us at this time, is the fox and the tree.
Fox peas on tree.
No.
What do you think that means, Banshee?
Well, let's dissect this a little bit. The fox indicates
There's already a tree.
having to be crafty and sly, and the tree is about health and, setting down roots. I tend to think in this case, we have to be very creative about how we're taking care of ourselves. And you know what that means to me is that we have to come up with more creative ways of fitting our workouts in.
Oh, okay, because it's about our health.
Are you not seeing that? Because we've been having a little difficulty getting on schedule with our workouts, and we do have a personal trainer we see once a week, but we like to go on our own, and we kind of balk at that. Well, our trainer canceled on us this week, and so should have gone ourselves that day, but alas,
No.
we did not. We made excuses, and I think that this is telling us we have to be a lot better about how we take care of ourselves.
Okay, I'll buy that.
We have to work harder. Because also remember, this is the card of work. Work harder on taking care of
Well,
ourselves.
that part doesn't sound so much fun.
I know. Well, and this is a window onto our house at this time. This is very interesting. So we have drawn the birds
Looks like the bird of paradise.
and the tower.
Well, those towers are never good, are they?
Well, it's not horrible, but what it is telling me, why are you doing this, cat? Oh my goodness, the cat has taken over our reading space once again. So basically, the birds is about news coming to us, and the tower is about an institution, an anniversary at the gym. Oh, look at that tail, yes.
Gee, Ellis, I don't know about that.
So sweet.
Meet you in the hot tub, honey.
Oh. So, you showed them already. The birds and the tower.
Oh, yes, I did, yes.
Silly me. So this is about our home at this time. And news is coming from, guess what? our condo association, I would guess, because that's an institution. So news is coming from the association about something. And remember, there are a few things that they're working on right now. We've noticed that our driveway has just gotten little marks on it. So that means that somebody's going to come and start cementing soon, or re-cementing some, patching up some areas. So let's hope they're going to let us know in advance that they're doing this, and I won't come home someday surprised and realize, oh, we can't get in our garage today. Sigh.
Yeah, that's happened before where it was kind of inconvenient having to park some distance away from the house and not able to use our driveway or the garage.
So the next pair of cards is about our wish, our fondest wish.
Ooh.
Well, of course I want you to be successful, but what about me?
Is the moon success?
Yes.
Oh. Why is the moon success? It just looks sort of dark and mysterious.
Well, depending on the interpretation, who you listen to at the Lenormand, the moon and the fox are kind of work-related cards often. They indicate success. They indicate that. And the gentleman is, of course, I would say it's you. I'm wishing success. Maybe it's just a card of...
Well, I know if you were Alice and this was the 1950s, I would say, to the moon, Alice. Like Ralph Cramden.
Well, that's a
from the
real
Honeymooners.
colloquialism, I must say. But I would say that this to me is indicating that maybe I am, it is my wish, and I'm sure it is your wish, that things start moving a little bit more successfully for you at work. That, some of the obstacles that you've had there will improve.
I just realized that the coach in the scene of the moon that's going towards the castle is, of course, the pumpkin coach from Cinderella. So that, of course, brings in a whole bunch of other ideas there.
That's right, because it's the fairy tale Lenormand.
Right, and so therefore it's a fairy tale interpretation of, oh, don't do that.
What's he doing?
He's chewing on something.
All right, stop that.
He wants to chew in that open piece.
No. Okay.
It
So
just
we-
sort of seems like it's dreamy and a wish of sorts. It's like the fairy tale.
This is so funny. So we had you in the wishes, and I'm in what is to come.
Oh dear.
So there's the lady.
And the garden, which has made a return appearance.
Yes. And the garden is, it seems like I'm going to be doing a lot of socializing while you're busy at work there.
Sounds typical. I make the donuts. I get up early to make the donuts.
Oh. So anyway, that sounds pretty good, actually. No, it looks like maybe I'm making some inroads on social media.
Do you
I don't know.
see things that connect any of these cards with the other ones? Like, for example, this was about most likely the condo association. Do you see any ability of these cards to impact with that?
Well, maybe
They're not
these...
supposed to necessarily.
They're not supposed to necessarily. These are just windows into different aspects of your life right now. So your fondest desire is for, some achievement or success at work, some moving ahead through some
I wanna meet
obstacles at
Cinderella.
work. And mine, the outcome is me actually making some headway with socializing. I keep thinking maybe it's social media. I've been trying to crack through some social media plateaus that I've achieved, let's say, and kind of expand my base. And so maybe that's going to happen.
Social media could be a garden.
It could be. I tend to look at the birds more as social media, which is interesting. This came up, and you know what? That's a reminder to me also that we have not signed up for the condo association website yet. And maybe that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
So anyway, as we're applying this to our lives and showing how it works, we're hoping we'll give you a little insight into how these cards work. And now we've got about 6 minutes left, so I want to talk a little bit about Sunday. Sunday, we're going to work with my question deck again, which is something I'm introducing on Twitter and Facebook as well. I pull a card from my question deck at random, and it's just thought-provoking questions that one might ask, and we see how a single tarot card might answer that question. And tarot cards are so nuanced. There are many ways that a single tarot card could answer the question that I pull. I have my question deck out here, so just an example. I think we had this last time. I think this is the one I just used on Twitter. And the question was, what connects us all? And what connects us all? I drew the Three of Swords, which is kind of a sad little card. And so the Three of Swords, how would that connect us all? I kind of suggested that maybe it would be through a mass tragedy. I hate to even bring up the mass shootings, but when something bad happens, a bad storm, we all come together. It connects everybody. We feel something and we grieve together. We work together. We help each other. We come together. So sometimes, even though the Three of Swords is such a negative, sad card, that's how I saw how it could answer the question. But then again, somebody could look at that question differently or that card differently and say, well, the Three of Swords, we are connected in how we experience heartache and loss. We all go through the same stages of grief. Somebody might take it that way. And I'm sure there's any number of ways that you could interpret that kind of question.
So there's a couple of questions or thoughts here. One is Ella says you'll be running the Twitter account, and we do have a
Yes.
Twitter account.
I will be running I do run the Twitter
So
account.
it'd be nice if you care to follow us on Twitter. What's that Twitter address again?
Well, this one is, it's a little bit different from our usual one. It's TFT Tarot 4, the number 4 today.
And Smiling Soul says any new cards. So I don't know if Smiling Soul is asking if we have new cards or if we're going to do any more with cards.
We might be showing some new cards on Sunday, but no, I think I showed what I showed today, the Affirmation deck and the Art of Life, and those aren't actually new. They're just things that I've had. I showed my Grand Lux Tarot. I may read with that on Sunday, though.
Oh, I want to ask you something about that because our mutual colleague, Chuck from Texas, he has the Grand Lux Tarot, and
Yes.
he's been showing that. And he mentioned that it's really expensive. He said he said it was like $110 on Amazon. Is that what you paid for it?
Absolutely not.
Because then somebody else mentioned that they had paid a lot for it too on eBay.
I
And
think
I
I
said,
paid $21.
"Thanks, Chuck, for telling me that."
You could look it up, but I think I paid $21 or $26 at the most. It was not expensive.
Can you answer Smiling Soul?
I missed it. You were so excited about your other that you just got. Yeah, you must have missed that one. Oh, you mean the Hip Chick Tarot? I did like that one a lot. Yeah, you must have mixed it when I brought up the Grand
We might try to
Lux.
excerpt that from the live stream and just have it be its own feature on YouTube. It'd probably be about 10 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be much longer
So
than
that's
that.
something we'll try to do.
But the Grand Lux
Or wait until I reload it with just the 10 minutes of it.
The Grand Lux Tarot will make a debut on Sunday, and no, it was not that expensive a deck. However, Ciro Marchetti was selling it before U.S. Game. He was selling his own edition of it before U.S. Games released the one, that he did for them. I mean, it's the same deck essentially, but his might have had a little bit more. I don't know if it had maybe some gold leaf or some different flair to it. And also, I think at the time he was selling it with one of his beautiful reading cloths. And I'm sorry I missed that deal. I was too late in responding to it because I would have paid the $65 or $85, whatever it was for that. But no, this deck did not cost me that much at all on Amazon. So I don't know if maybe the problem is they're out of stock already and maybe they're selling, other copies, for a higher amount now because it's in demand. that's all I can figure is I got it at the right time.
Well, we'd like to thank everybody who came today, and I noticed a few people came back, so that was great.
Yes, thanks for coming back on,
Thank you,
Smiling
Larita,
Soul.
for visiting. So happy. Thank you, Ellis. Thank you, the
For your first time.
Thank you, Smiling Soul. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
And for anybody who was on who did not visit the chat, thanks for coming and stopping in, and hopefully we'll hear from you next time.
Now, the other thing too is, of course, we want to thank all of those people that are listed there. Our granddaughter who designed the avatar, and Junior Goddess for lighting, Monster Hunter Malik. It's been wonderful. So we really do thank you all, and we're going to see you again next
On Sunday.